Preliminary Shores Prepping. I'm your host, Greg. I was out working around, stringing more fencing, and I was thinking about bugging out and how difficult it was actually for me to do 2 practice runs. The first time, and this is pre-COVID, I did this when I was 60 years old. I'm 63 now, but I got to thinking about the experience and would I do it again. So if you're thinking about bugging out and you haven't rucksack before or backpack before, let me give you some parameters as to what I was doing. First off, it was in July, midsummer, and it's like 90 some degrees now here in Ohio, growing zone 6A. And it was very similar conditions. I left the house with the agreement the missus would pick me up because I knew I couldn't come back. So I left with my backpack fully stocked, with the exception of I removed firearms and my fixed blade knife and my hand pry tools, because those could be considered burglary tools. Keep that in mind. Should I be stopped by the police? So I didn't want any firearms, I didn't want any knives, I didn't want any burglary tools, but the rest of the stuff was socks, food, medical supplies, my camelback, plenty of water, and like big gyms or slim gyms and all that kind of stuff. So I started out at 11 o'clock. The goal was to be 11.3 miles away without being spotted or having an encounter. It was a heavily traveled road / highway. I did not allow headlights to see me. Okay. And you would be amazed how difficult that is. To make a long story short, to travel 11.3 miles on foot, starting at 11 o'clock, temperature roughly between 75 and 77 degrees, depending on how close you got to the lake, wearing light colored shirt, shorts, gray socks, and tennis shoes. It took me just over 3 hours. I went through 2 12-ounce bottles of water, half my camelback. I had like 3 or 4 Slim Jims, a candy bar, chewed on some gum, and I think that was about it. No pop at all, none. You don't want any of that. My goal was not to be seen by headlights, car lights. So what I would do is I'd be traveling down the road walking at a pretty good clip. And if a car was coming either behind me or in my direction, I would have to find a place where the headlights wouldn't shine on me and the car went past without notice. Now, I had to avoid a couple dogs that ran right out to the highway and barking, and you'd be surprised how many people are actually up, sitting in their garage or on their front porch watching cars pass by or doing whatever. Now, they didn't raise the alarm, they didn't challenge me, and they didn't call the police, so I would count that as a gray man experience. No cars stopped, no cars challenged me, and I made it there safely and called the missus, and she was there in 15 minutes and picked me up. But 3 hours later, fully exhausted, my feet hurting, and I said, I don't ever want to bug out. So take that into consideration. If you are planning on leaving by foot, bugging out in an emergency, take that into consideration. If you think you have enough water to travel just for yourself, you don't. If you think your footwear is good, I would suggest you try walking in heat as well as cold and see how well that holds up. Now, my next experiment, what I did was I just went camelback in 95-degree temperature, walking through heavy sawgrass on our property. Heavy sawgrass, pine trees, oak, and just miserable conditions, swampy, muddy muck, to make it to the Vermilion River, stop, and then come back to the house, and that is just over 1.5 miles. Again, just heavy walking and getting there, and I did that twice. That was 1.5 hours time. So, and that wasn't playing evade or anything else. That was just walking through heavy heavy grass, timber, avoiding branches, avoiding the mud, the holes, the muck, and everything else. That was just an hour and a half, and I went through half my Camelback water. That was a 4 liter. Now keep in mind, a gallon of water weighs 8 pounds, just over 8 pounds. So if you're carrying all this and thinking you are going to make great time and your bug out location is 10, 20, 30 miles and you have to walk it, think again. Hope you found this helpful. It's a hot one today. I'm not doing too much. We had a little bit of excitement last night. We got over it. We challenged them, and they went back into the shadows, not to return, but there is stuff going on. Always be prepared. No matter how safe you think you are not. Oh, one last thing. I wanted to mention this before. If you are concerned about what's going on, and like myself, we don't have a whole lot of Wi-Fi, very limited Wi-Fi, get yourself some trail cameras. And it usually takes 6 AA batteries. They're good for like 2,000, 3,000 pictures before you even have to consider that. You'd be amazed what you see in the dark, in your backyard, front yard, or whatever's walking around. We've seen foxes, raccoons, skunks, deer, and 2-legged predators hiding behind trees. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Get yourself right with God. Get baptized, submerged in water. In the name of Jesus Christ, Greg out. Thank you.